guys, let's talk about affinity bias. All right, what the heck is bias? Our brain tries to categorize things so it can go through things quickly. And so a lot of times we think that we have an affinity to things that are like us, right? So for me, it would be women. Oh, look at the pretty feather I found. How gorgeous. It would be, women, it would be probably people my age, maybe people from where I live, people I work at the Cleveland clinics, maybe people at the clinic, doctors, I'm a doc, so it would be people similar to me, white, that is where, like, if I see an affinity, I more easily can approach them and interact with them because my brain tells me similar, like we're similar. So that's easier. It takes less energy for my brain to connect with someone when they have a lot of similarities to me. So that's affinity bias. It's affinity, like it's like me, and it's a bias because my brain likes it because it's easiest. The brain tries to take care of itself and not use a lot of metabolic needs. It's already doing a lot of things. It's managing our whole body. So it wants to do the easy things if it can, because it's already managing the whole body like a busy parent. So it already is doing a million things. So it doesn't want to do extra things. It takes more energy and more assessment to get to know somebody not like us. That's what the assumption is with affinity bias. So how can we influence that, change that? A lot of times it's curiosity, to be more curious, getting to know people, just what is their favorite thing to do on the weekend? What's their favorite color? Just simple, like non-threatening questions. You can get to know folks, just open up the conversation on your teams and at work so that you get to know people. You see, like, we have more similarities than differences usually. People care about their families, they care about safety, they care about professionalism generally. So, we usually try to find the similarities and say we all belong, right? Like we're all here on this team, on this earth. And so affinity bias is, something that happens, but it is, there's a neuroscience reason for it. It doesn't mean it feels good or is right or etc. So it's important to know that it's there. And then how do you bust through it or lessen it? Someone said it's like jealousy, like you don't want to admit it, but most of us have it. So I think that's probably true. So affinity bias is like jealousy. Okay, so, curiosity helps. Know that you have the ability to influence your local culture, and there's subcultures. You have a culture like in your family, in your community, in your town, maybe at your religious place of worship, at work, and you think like, oh, somebody else sets the culture. But actually we all have an influence zone. We can influence around us. How welcoming are we? Do we talk with people? Do we invite them to a coffee, that kind of thing? So one easy thing is just stay curious, like tell me more about that. Tell me more about your last position. Tell me more about your favorite thing to eat on the weekend. Something simple that's not threatening, especially if someone's new to your team. And you'll see like people like, oh, they actually care, which is neat. So think about that. And then also just think about your culture of influence. What can you do locally where you live, where you work? How welcoming can you be? If there's someone new, invite them for coffee or tea, just 10 minutes, just could we chat for 10 minutes or have a Zoom call or Teams, just to get to know them. So that can really help because it feels good, right? When someone welcomes you, wants to know about you, is curious about you, it feels good. You got this, guys. So affinity bias, it's like jealousy. We don't want to admit it, but most of us have it. There's actually a way to assess yours. There's a Harvard implicit training testing, maybe it is. It's IAT, Harvard. If you look up Harvard and implicit bias, you could test where your biases are, because we all have some somewhere, whether it be race or gender or age or what, LGBT. We all have something somewhere. Generally, sometimes we're aware of it, sometimes we're not. So it's a good idea to kind of know so that you can plan. You can book more coffees and teas. To get to know people, right? All right, you got this, guys. See, as soon as you know, bring your attention to something, then you can bring your intention to something. If you're not happy with that or you don't like the culture where you are, you can start a change by being more welcoming where you are in your culture. All right, stay well. Reach out if you need some help with your teams or any resiliency training. We have courses for that with Brain Fresh. Okay.